Hey guys, welcome back to Creating Careers Podcast. On today's episode, I had a chance to sit down and talk with George Edmondson. George is not new to this podcast. He's been a guest before, but in this episode, I had a chance to sit down and talk with George about a lot of the expansion that's going on with Seed Creative, both in the team that he has built as well as the building that he currently is utilizing as a studio space. George is doing incredible things in the city of Tuscaloosa and beyond. And I'm really excited to have the chance to sit down and talk with him and just learn about his journey, learn about the growth he's experienced, and some of the new things that he's doing. And I'm excited to share all of that with you now. Check it out.
What's up?
How are you?
I'm good.
What is it? Are we starting? Is this? Are we
We'll
posing?
We'll start officially.
Okay.
George Edmondson, welcome to Creating Creators Podcast again.
Yeah, dude.
It's been a while.
It's been years.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 2 years at least since I interviewed you last on the podcast, and that one was a virtual podcast.
Right.
So,
yeah. Our schedules just can't. We can't. We're just busy. We're busy dudes, man.
Well, you had me in person in studio on your podcast,
right?
Shortly after that, or I think it was shortly after I had you on mine, and so now here you are. Welcome to Riverlight Studios,
Dude. I'm so excited, man. When I was walking up, I saw the sign and I was like, "This is sick." I walked in. This place is done up well. You do a good job. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
It's been a You've been there.
Mm-hmm.
You've been there in aspiring to have an office/studio space, and then actually achieving it. And then we'll talk more about sort of what's happened to your studio space later. But thank you. I appreciate it.
Let me say this before we get going too much. Like, just from the first time I met you to now, dude. Like, I'm so proud of you. I just want you to know that this is awesome.
Thank you.
Like, you are really you're pursuing it and you're not quitting. And that is something that I knew early on when I met you. I was like, this guy's going to get after it. So it's so inspiring to see. And it's like, you're actually doing it right and you're doing it well. The lighting is awesome. Like, you're streamlined, the workflow. I can tell you're putting a lot of thought into it. So good job.
Well, thank you.
Thank
you. I appreciate it. It was, we all fake it till we make it, right?
Dude, 100%. I still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm still there as well.
Yeah.
So, but I appreciate you acknowledging, at least some of the illusion that I have going on.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right. Well, I do want to jump into this because I know I want to respect your time. I know you've got something in a couple hours. So, and some of these have been known to go a couple hours. So let's try to limit that as much as I can.
Dude.
But
I'm good.
Well, the slides keep me on task as much as possible.
Okay.
So let's just jump into it initially.
Okay.
For those that maybe don't know much of your story or all of your story, which we don't have time to go into all of it, but just tell us in general, who are you? Who is George Edmondson?
Sure. So number one, I'm a Christian. So I believe that God sent his son to die on a cross for me and for everyone on earth that will believe in him. So that's number one. Who is George? He's a Christian. Number two is he's a husband and a father. So I have an incredible wife who supports me 110%. And I have 4 awesome kids, and at least 2 of them I like.
I love that.
And when they listen, they're going to start wondering if they are those 2.
Yeah.
So,
I totally get that and can connect with that. I have 4 children myself, and I always say, like, I wanted 2, my wife wanted 3, we ended up with 4, but we're trying to decide which one we're going to send back.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm just kidding. Obviously, I'm obligated to love all of my kids. So I love all of my kids, and they're great. My oldest son is 18. He is starting college. We had his college, selecting his classes and stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
So weird.
Where's he going to go?
So he's going to go to Shelton State.
Okay.
And then he's going to transfer to University of Alabama.
Nice.
So he's coming from a small private Christian school. He had I think maybe 20, could have been less than 20 graduates in his class. It's very small.
Yeah.
So we thought long and hard about it, and we're like, you know what, let's kind of do baby steps. We're going to go Shelton, and then we're going to transfer after a year or 2 or whatever, whenever we're comfortable. But Yeah, so we were at Shelton State yesterday doing
Nice.
all that, and then I went to Dude Perfect right after that. So I didn't
saw
get home.
the-
Didn't get home until 2 a.m. So I'm
They
pretty
were in
tired.
Birmingham, right?
Yeah, they were in Birmingham. Yeah.
I saw my old youth pastor. He was at it
Mm-hmm.
with his son. I think he's a senior in high school or graduated last year, one or the other.
Yeah.
But you and I love your story. I relate and connect with your story. You and your wife, I think, how old were you whenever you went on your first date?
15.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my wife and I were 16. It was my 16th birthday. We went on our first date. We've been together ever since. We have 18-year-old twins that just graduated high school that are going to UAB in the fall.
Nice.
And then we've got 2 other kids behind them. So your story and my story, I feel like I feel really connected in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
We also have some mutual friends. I know Johnny Grimes was one
Yep.
that your whole like skate ministry back in the day. I was actually in ministry when I was 14. I started preaching some at church, and I was not talented in any other way as far as like skateboarding or music or anything like that. But I did my part, to some degree. Probably ran more askew than towards the right way. But anyway, I was trying, that youthful ignorance at times. But anyway, it's really neat to just sort of hear your story. I will say your story, even before you and your wife got together, a lot of that is really neat to hear. Sort of the grace, what would you say, like renewing, a lot of the brokenness that was made whole that sort of you experienced in your life early on, you and your mother and your brother.
Right.
So I don't. We've gone into that before. I do encourage anyone that's listening to go out there, and I know you've shared a lot on your own platforms, and I think you've even alluded or maybe even explicitly stated you're going to do like a documentary at some point.
Yeah, I don't mind. Yeah, we can definitely chat about that. So it will probably be more in the realm of a feature film style as opposed to a documentary. But I can definitely give like the bird's eye, like this is kind of my life up until now. So when I was younger, we were living in an abusive situation that my mom had to, get us out of. And so one morning she woke up at like 4 a.m. and packed her car and snuck my brother and me out, and we then lived on the road, and we were homeless for a bit while kind of on the run, And so we lived in a tent, we lived in a car. We stayed at Oak Mountain State Park for a while. And all of this, is happening, and my mom is also in college. So it was pretty cool because like, you know what I mean? It wasn't cool, but it's inspiring to know that through all of that, like, we're homeless and she's sitting at a picnic table and we're playing outside of a tent and she's studying.
Yeah.
And then she goes and ended up graduating and getting a degree while homeless. We ended up living in a homeless shelter in Birmingham for a little while, and then eventually made it out to Brookwood, which is right there near it's in Tuscaloosa County. And that's where we lived in another homeless shelter in which she ended up getting a job at because there was a job opening that specifically called for the degree that she had just gotten. So it was pretty wild, the timing. And we lived there for like 7.5 years.
Yeah.
So we lived at the homeless shelter for 7.5 years. We were residents at first and then, moved out and still lived there on campus, but had our own kind of little trailer there. And then through that, man, like, a lot of forgiveness happened, between her and my dad. Like, my dad was an incredible person. He was a good person who did bad things. Like, that's how I like to describe him. And there's been a lot of controversy surrounding the fact that I want to do this.
Yeah.
I want to tell this story, but I guess maybe if anyone is listening, I don't know why they would, but my intent is never to show my father in a bad light. My intent is to show forgiveness and to show that people make really bad mistakes.
Yeah.
They do really, really bad things, but there's forgiveness, there's grace, not only from God, but from other people, from my mom and things like that. And so that's kind of the goal, and that's the heart behind it, is to show that story of forgiveness, and show that even through the trials that we had, the struggles that we had, there was a beautiful outcome on the backside of that. And so, with all of that said, we ended up moving out of the homeless shelter. I was doing ministry, playing in worship bands. I met Christy, who is now my wife. The very first thing I ever said to her was a quote directly from Dumb and Dumber. I saw her and I went, "How about a hug?" You know how Lloyd Christmas says there at the airport. She rolled her eyes and walked around me. But I know that she smirked a little.
Yeah.
I know that there was a little bit of a twinkle there. So of course I began to pursue her pretty hard. The second time I saw her, I actually have it on camera, and we have a video of it, where I'm filming, with a VHS camcorder, and I look over and there she is. And I said, "Hey, it's the girl that won't talk to me because I'm a skank." And she laughs and walks away. That's the second time I talked to her. Again,
you're building confidence.
I'm showing her that, like, I know what I am. I know that you're out of my league, but I'm going to pursue you anyway. And so it worked out. We're married now. We've been married for 20 years and we have 4 awesome kids. Through that time though, man, I was in a band. I was in a metal, like, hardcore band. We ended up signing a contract with a European record label. We toured through Europe a bit with some really cool metal bands and got to have some incredible experiences there. I ended up leaving the band and then, continued doing skateboarding ministry, kind of how we talked about.
Yeah.
Ran a skateboarding ministry for 9 years at our church in McCalla. Got to do some awesome stuff. Got to skateboard with Christian Hosoi and Andrew Reynolds and Chad Tim and like all of these people that like real skaters know who these guys are. And I met Stephen Baldwin, like so random.
Yeah.
He was speaking at a conference that we went to in New Mexico. So that was weird. But so man, we did all that, and then you fast forward through all of that, and all of this time, I'm making skateboarding videos just because I love to skateboard and I love to make videos. I taught myself how to edit with 2 VCRs stacked on top of each other. And so that was my way of learning how to edit, hit play and then hit record like kind of after, because there's a little delay. Anyone that's ever recorded with 2 VCRs knows what I'm talking about.
There's very few of those people still around at this point.
I know, but just so you know, it is possible to make a subpar video with 2 VCRs. But so man, I did all that. Again, fast forward, man, like so much has gone on in my life at this point. I worked for UPS. I had started a business. The business failed when I was a lot younger, and I was kind of in the car business. The whole 2008, time frame, the crash of 2008 killed that business. And then I was working for a company called Cintas, delivering uniforms. And the tornado in 2011 in Tuscaloosa hit our plant. The truck I had been in 45 minutes previous was wrapped around a tree. And I was just in that truck. It was a wild situation. Anyone that was in Tuscaloosa or in the country, probably heard about the tornado and knows the impact that it had. But through all of that, the management at Cintas understood that I knew how to do some basic editing and video stuff because of my ministry. They said, "Hey, we want to edit this video that we filmed. We'll pay you." Separately, I learned how to become like a vendor. I didn't know what a sole proprietor was. I knew nothing about any of this, but they kind of told me, "Here's the steps you need to do to become a vendor." I was a vendor. I edited a video in 45 minutes, and they paid me $600 for it. And my wife, God zapped her in the head like a lightning bolt. And she immediately was like, "You need to quit and start a video company." So I always give her all the credit. Sorry, I just bumped the mic. I always give her all the credit. It was not my idea. It was her idea. And I thought she was nuts because I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. But Cintas loved the video. They hired us again to do some more stuff, and they paid me again. And we was like, okay, there's something here. So that was 2013 when that happened. I put a 6-month notice in to Cintas, and I said, hey, in January of 2014, I'm going to leave. That gives us enough time to let all of my clients know on my route that I'm leaving. I'm going to train someone and say, this person that takes over for me is going to do a good job for you, because I didn't want to leave. You know, I really respect all the people at Cintas, and I respect that company. They're awesome. And I didn't want to leave them in a bad situation where I just up and quit. So I really took that seriously. And I mean, I still have a great relationship with them to this day. The guy that taught me, and it was my manager, was texting me yesterday. He's going to be coming to our grand opening of our new studio, which is August 25th. And we'll talk about that later.
Yes.
But he, you know, I still have a good relationship with them. And that was 13 years ago, 12 years ago, something like that. So man, I quit, and I walked around with a backpack with a computer and a DSLR called a 5D Mark III and one lens, 24-105 f4, and knocked on doors and begged people to let me film stuff for them. I was like, I'll do it for free. I don't care. I just needed to build a portfolio. And since then, we've grown to have, you know, a really pretty cool studio. We have 6 full-time employees. We have a network of about 20 freelancers that we work on a regular basis. We have clients all over the world. We've won 2 Emmy Awards. And all of that started through just my wife being like, hey, you should start a video company because you like to make these goofy skateboarding videos.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty cool that was the very fast version of like 20 something years of time. But yeah.
So no need to even watch the feature film at this point, right?
No, not at all. Not at all. You don't get to see all of the crazy shenanigans that we dealt with.
I do want to touch on a couple of things. First of all, I got a chance to go to that very same Cintas.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing some videos for Tuscaloosa County Schools.
Oh, cool. Okay.
They're one of their like special needs programs. I think it's called Step to Adulthood, where they basically take students who have aged out and they give them this transitional period of time where they basically learn work skills. And Cintas is one of the main companies in Tuscaloosa that really works with that program. So I got to go sort of video them in Cintas. So it seems like they're, I didn't get to meet I didn't interact with any of the people that work at Cintas, but I can imagine just based on what they're doing with that one program, I imagine they're really great people.
Oh, so, dude, they're the best. Yeah. Like I didn't have any issues with people there when I worked there. They really care about what they do. And I know that might sound silly to some people. It's like, it's just uniforms and stuff like that. But it's like, it doesn't matter what you do. If you do it with intent and you do it with like, there's a purpose behind what I'm doing and you're solving a problem. Someone has a need and you can fix it or you can make their life easier, like do it to the best of your ability. And for the most part, you know, especially the people there that were in management, take that to heart and they care and they want to see you grow as an employee when you're there. And I always felt that, you know, I never didn't feel that. So shout out to them, man, because they really are. They're good people there.
Well, and to see them giving back to the community like that is great.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
The other thing that I was going to touch on was you talked about your story and how much it focuses on grace. And something that I've always said, my 2, I think, most important characteristics of anybody, but I think is basically epitomized in the gospel is humility and grace.
Yep.
And what I even heard you sort of say about your dad with like how he's a good person that made really bad decisions or really bad mistakes. Like we're all capable of making bad mistakes. I think it's the lack of humility in somebody to acknowledge their own fallacies, their own failures, or their own need for grace. I think that mentality, if you sort of carry that further and further in your life where you just think too highly of yourself, that causes you to look down upon others. And ultimately you end up refusing others grace because you don't think you need any yourself. But it's that realization that we all need grace, both from God and from others around us.
Sure.
it sort of makes it a lot easier to then say, I'm going to give you grace because you need it just like I do.
Sure. Absolutely.
So yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, your story is encouraging. I appreciate the ways that I can relate to it specifically, and the ways that I can't, I admire.
Yeah.
Because I do know that the struggles that you and your family went through, it makes the experience that you have now all the sweeter.
Oh, dude. Yeah. There's no reason. And I get frustrated with myself when I do get upset or angry about something that's going on, because ultimately I always come back to, I'm alive. Number one, I'm here.
That's grace in and of itself.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I exist. That's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I know that when I'm no longer here, I will be in heaven. And so I really try my best. You know, again, I know that my wife is probably rolling her eyes a little bit, because like when I get frustrated, I really try to be like, man, you have nothing to be frustrated about. Like everyone's healthy right now. Like we're in, you know, things are going okay with our company and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Perspective.
We
all need it. Definitely.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, let's move on and talk about some perspective on your team.
Sure.
So first of all, Seed Creative, talk a little bit about what it is that what its purpose is. Because I hear you talk, and we'll get in more into some other stuff that you're really even like teaching coming soon.
Yeah.
But ever since I've been following you on social, I've heard you talk differently than a lot of other people out there that are doing, I mean, even myself doing video production.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from you just in your normal social media content. Some of the funny stuff, but,
Yeah, sure.
But specifically whenever you really talk about the purpose of Seed Creative, just talk about that and where that really comes from.
Sure. So why we exist is to create videos that make a difference in people's lives. That's why we are a company. And I think that we take that seriously, no matter if it's, you know, we do a lot of content that the public never sees.
Right.
I would say 85% of what we do, maybe 80%.
Yeah.
It's not just accessible and everyone's just going to just see it. You know, we don't do a ton of marketing content. We do some, but we do a lot of education, a lot of training. We do have like philanthropic things that we do that we don't even talk about. You know, just making videos for different organizations or people, and we just give it to them and no one knows about it. But I believe that Jesus was a storyteller. I mean, he spoke in parables so that people could understand. That was who he was, aside from our Savior who died for our sins. When he was on earth, he spoke in stories. And so I look at that and I'm like, you know, my ultimate goal as a Christian is to be like Jesus as much as I possibly can. And obviously we all fail, but this is a great way to do that, is to tell stories and do that through video and try to reach as many people as we can. And so that's why all of us, you know, have the same understanding. We make videos that can make a difference in people's lives. And so that when we're going into a safety video, when we're going into an educational piece, when we're going into marketing and advertising, we're trying to think about that. We're trying to think about who is going to be affected by this aside from the company's bottom line.
Yeah.
You know, if this video does well, does it give, you know, job security because the company is doing well, because marketing worked, and all of these people that are working there that you don't know and you don't see, they get to go and feed their families. Like, that's pretty cool when you look at it that way.
Let me ask you this, like, going back to when you first started, you just got that 5D Mark III.
Yep.
And you got your backpack and your laptop and stuff. You're going around trying to convince people to work with you. Thinking of your mentality then versus your mentality now as Seed Creative, where did you come from? Did you always have that perspective, or what was that growth mindset to get you here, and maybe how did that come about?
So I was terrified starting, and I did not have that perspective of I'm going to make content to make a difference in their lives. My mindset was I have to feed my family.
That is very much of a motivator at that point. Yeah.
And so I guess I could try to be super smart and wise and say, well, yeah, it's making a difference in my life and my family's life. Dude, that was not my mentality, though. My mentality was we got to eat. You know, like we don't have any money and I just quit a job. Like we got to do something and we got to make some content so that people will pay me so I can feed my family and take care of my bills. So I don't know where that transition happened. I genuinely don't.
Do you feel like you were misguided at times, or maybe that you had a misunderstanding of really the purpose you were supposed to be serving? And I ask you that. I mean, I think we all. I mean, I've even heard you talk in some of the stuff some of the lessons that you're sort of working on about that like misguided direction that some companies can go in. I just wonder, were you ever that company? Did you ever make those kind of mistakes? And what were those?
Probably the only thing that is going to be relevant and just kind of simple to talk about is when I first started, I thought I'm trying to get corporate clients, so I need to be a corporate person. So I would wear suits and ties and, you know, kind of dress up fancy and try to talk to these CEOs and stuff. And I was not getting anywhere with them. I'm about to cough. So 1 second. I was yelling at Dude Perfect last night.
Yeah. A little scratchy.
And so it wasn't until I was like, dude, like, that's not who I am. I'm a skateboarder. I was doing the backward hat thing way before it got, you know, it's like popular now with people my age, which kind of sucks, but whatever. I was wearing backwards hats and skateboarding and doing all that when I was like 12, you know what I mean? Right. And so that's just who I am. This metal musician guy with, you know, coming from a kind of a broken home. And I was like, that's who I am. So that's who I need to be. It doesn't matter who I'm talking to. And so that was when the shift actually started happening, when I was like, I just need to be myself. And I think I showed up to one meeting one time alongside another corporate video production company that I was kind of doing some work for. And I showed up literally on my skateboard with a backward hat. And I think he thought I was nuts because he was very, you know, proper.
Yeah.
And
put together pretty well.
We made the sale. And I was like, oh, okay. So people can see through the bull crap.
Yeah.
They knew that I'm just some little twerp trying to like wear a suit and be something that I wasn't. And who I am is a Christian and a skateboarder and a guy that wears backward hat and talks the way that I talk. And there was a lot of realization and eye-opening in kind of that moment, but I don't remember when that was. But that was probably when I started to say, I'm a person of faith and I'm a person who looks at ministry, who is in ministry and things like that. I just need to bring who I am and bring that to the table. And if people don't like that, I'll just go back to work for Centos. Yeah. You know what I mean? And luckily that was the right decision.
Yeah.
So maybe it was in like year 2 or something, you know, fairly early. So hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. I think it was one of those. I think we all make mistakes and then learn along the way. I mean, we did that as in video as well as in business. Right. And so, I was just curious. I know, you know, we'll talk soon about the education stuff that you're moving into. And I know a lot of that deals with sort of those like misguided or even just not even misguided, but sometimes just, hey, this worked for me. And this is sort of the direction that I've taken my business, and especially in the video space. So let's talk though about these photos a little bit. And with that, I feel like this has been a little bit of the character and personality of Seed Creative from the get-go.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember one of the big videos that you did that really popped off was that April Fool's Day video of, what was it? It was sort of like this is why you should hire Seed Creative.
Yeah.
And it was like everything that every videographer
Nose is bad.
Yeah, nose is terrible.
So I mean, to make it super simple, it's a promo video for a video company talking about how great they are, but it is evident that they are not great.
They are
terrible.
The epitome of a terrible video.
So
company.
we are bragging about, for instance, how we have systems in place for beautifully stabilized video.
That's probably my favorite part.
That
of
might
the
be
whole
my
thing.
favorite one too, because
the whole frame.
We weren't sure how well it was going to do, but Adam Honeycutt, who is the longest employee of C Creative aside from myself, I told him, I was like, dude, like, I want you to do the worst job you can as a videographer, but keep me in frame. And buddy, he was walking around, if you're not watching, but he was walking around with a camera, just shaking it and moving it all around. And I was like, I think if we stabilize this, we can get like the frame to move, but I'll stay in the center of the frame. And it worked. And I was like, oh, that was gold.
Beautifully.
Yeah.
That and Audio Jungle.
The Audio Jungle.
Those are my two favorite parts of that video. So if you haven't seen it, I'll put a link at least in the bio or in the description on this video, because it's so worth watching.
And I mean, I don't know if you want to very briefly, that video was one of the highest ROI videos I've ever made in my life.
I mean, the investment was very minimal, I would imagine.
We probably shot it in 2 hours.
and the budget for it was
zero. There was no budget.
People were paying you to just stop shooting.
It was shot on a C100 Mark II with like the worst lens ever and really bad audio. But long story short, the CEO of a little small camera company called Red saw the video. He liked it enough to say that it brought him joy, which is obviously a form of currency, because he found value in that joy. And he sent us a $50,000 camera package for free.
Yeah, just a little tiny.
So we went from C100 Mark II to a Red Gemini, fully outfitted, basically like the Ranger version of a Gemini. So it had like a full production module on the back with XLR inputs and all this crazy stuff. And then we immediately we won a documentary to do for the state of Alabama. And it was like immediate.
Documentary
it was like immediate. Like we got the camera and then got the documentary. So we shot the whole documentary on the brand new camera, and that's what won our first Emmy. So it was really like, it was cool how the timing just all worked out. But let's talk about this.
Well, it boils down to this type of personality that's been part of George Edmondson as well as Seed Creative from the get-go.
Yeah, we're just being dumb, man. So like,
I would say dumb, stupid, and a little sensual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because you're not even showing all the photos. No. Some of those are not what NSFW, not safe for work.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that we keep
Jordan
in the
definitely
bathroom.
Pushed a little bit beyond.
Dude, Jordan's he's incredible. He's a beast. But yeah, so basically all it was I was like, hey, I got these new, we've been having a need for having our own high-vis vests because we do a lot of video work that, we're required to wear like full PPE and things like that. And so I was like, let's order some. We'll put our logo on it, And when we got them, we were like, let's just have like a dumb little photo shoot. We wanted to also use our cyc wall that's at the new studio. It's got full RGB lights. And I was like, I wonder how yellow would look on the cyc wall, because I don't know.
Dude, it looks incredible.
It looks great. Yeah, it looks great. I mean, that's like zero editing on the colors or that was just like almost straight out of camera.
Nick really, I think, has found his if he takes that to like OnlyFans, I think he's got something.
Oh, sure. Yeah, or feetfinder.com. That's some of some of the other content. But
I would imagine that, him in a vest could really make some money.
Yeah, a vest only.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. All right, Nick. Calling them out right now. That's what he's got to do. Well, I do want to talk about the team because, you talked about back in, you said 2013?
Yep.
Was when you stepped out?
So 2013 was the decision was made.
So 2014.
January of 2014 is when I left the company and started.
Fast forward 12 years and here you are.
Sure. It's pretty cool. So, we have Adam Honeycutt here.
Right.
He's he's been with me the longest.
I mean, technically, wouldn't there be somebody else on there that was with you before Adam?
Jacob. Yeah, that's true.
But Jacob's also
Jacob
that
is
one
a
that
jerk and won't work for me.
He's that one that's
full-time.
just outside your reach.
He won't
all the
do
time.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand
He is a
it.
jerk.
I don't blame him. I don't blame him, but he doesn't want to have the commitment to seed.
He has commitment issues. I know.
So. Yeah, he does. He does.
Jacob's a great guy. Love Jacob. He's killing it right now with Lumen.
Dude, I know. I'm so proud of him.
It's really awesome.
Yeah, I'm super proud.
I had
of
him and his partner. Oh goodness, CJ.
One of those, yes.
Sorry, CJ.
I've only met him once.
Yeah,
twice.
They both of them were on the podcast. Go back and look at the previous one of the previous
Technically,
episodes,
yes. And we go ahead and put Jacob on the website because he does do so much for Seed.
I think he's on 3 different video production companies.
That makes sense. That's good branding on his part. But so from as far as full-time employees, Adam has been there the longest.
Yeah.
He came when I was in year 3 or 4.
I remember that video. Are you a video editor?
Yeah, that one was good.
Yeah,
that's a funny
great.
one.
Yeah.
The way we announced Adam too, though, was we threw a green screen on.
Yeah.
So,
I was just watching that earlier.
Dude,
this morning.
That was a funny one.
Yeah.
So Adam,
Harry Potter with a British accent.
Yeah. So Adam he works full time remote. Actually, he left in 2020, moved to Tennessee, but he's been full time remote ever since, and it's been wonderful. He's sort of our head of editing, lead editor specifically for the educational content that we do. And then he's our gatekeeper, he's our quality control, things like that. My right-hand man is Nick Golden.
Yeah.
So he helps with literally everything: producing, editing, invoicing.
You hired him while he was still at Alabama.
He was still at
right?
Alabama, right?
Yeah.
So he came because I put out an ad because I wanted someone to come part-time social media content.
Yeah.
Just shoot behind the scenes,
Has he ever served that purpose?
He made one video.
And then it was like, I need you in this other capacity, or you're so terrible in that capacity, let's move you over here and try.
No, it was out of full necessity on my part. But my God, I'm so glad it happened because there's no one else I would want in the role that he's in. He's
at this point though, is he really physically present, or is he always at F1 stuff?
In Europe?
Yeah.
He takes a lot of time off.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
He takes a lot of time off.
Last time I was at your studio, there was an empty desk with Nick's name on it.
Yep.
So, well,
we're
Nick,
messing with you, Nick.
Yeah, we're calling him out big time for his OnlyFans and now his F1 stuff.
Yeah, Feet Finder.
Feet Finder.
No, Nick is awesome. He does basically everything that I do. And then we have Dawson, Jordan, and Matthew there.
Yeah.
They are our 3 kind of newest full-time employees. Dawson is a little bit of a hybrid shooter and editor. Jordan also a hybrid shooter editor
and an incredible personality. On camera.
Jordan's freaking awesome.
Yeah, he's.
I mean,
they
all are. They all are, but Jordan's special.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he is a light in a dark world.
Yeah,
and he's always smiling and happy and eager to help.
His own content that he does is incredible.
He just crossed 50,000.
I saw that.
Followers on Instagram.
Props, Jordan.
So, and then Matthew is primarily focused on editing. He and Adam are kind of like a tag team.
Yeah.
Like Adam and Matthew are kind of there together. Jordan and Dawson are just kind of there, kind of split between Adam and the needs that we have through what he kind of manages, and then me and Nick on the bigger stuff.
Let me interrupt you real quick going
up?
through the team. I want to ask this because it is so hard, at least in my experience, like taking the step of hiring somebody and giving over a piece of
really hard.
Your baby, so to speak. And then on top of that, like managing that stuff. And I've done it only minimally.
Yeah.
And currently I'm not really doing it. And so to take it to this scale from just it being you at one point, what advice do you have for somebody that is looking to add or looking to give up more and more of that responsibility to somebody else?
Um, well, you never know how someone's going to do until you just throw them in the water and see if they can swim. And that is really difficult to do. But just like with Nick, really with Adam, with all of these guys, there was a bit of a trial phase that they didn't know they were in.
Yeah.
But we brought them on, and I was just like, hey, I need a social media edit. This is the vibe I want. Just walk out the door.
Yeah.
And just see what they do on their own. And then when I can see like where that kind of, where are they, in their skill level from a shooter, editor, producer, whatever. And then I can help them figure out what doesn't work, figure out what does work. But essentially what I want to do is find where are they the strongest and just hammer down on that. And in some cases, don't even worry about where they're weakest. We don't want to build that part up, because if there's a natural place that they're starting to flow and move into, that's the path we want to take. I don't want to turn someone into something that they aren't.
Right.
So
you're not fighting against their weakness. You're leaning into their strength.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And there are guys that like, I'll say this. There are guys in the past. I'm not going to say anything about the guys that are on the team now because we don't focus on their weaknesses. Like, that's not important. What's important is find your strengths. I think eventually where they're weakest is going to get stronger as they get stronger, just in general as people. You know what I mean? Like, they're going to start to figure some of that stuff out on their own. But, there are people in the past, for instance, who maybe they weren't the strongest in production. And I wanted them to be in production. I want them to be behind the camera. That's the role that they were here to serve. And early on, you start to notice that might not be where they're great, but they're really good at editing.
Yeah.
And so we say, instead of just writing them off and being like, well, you can't do the job, it's like, okay, dude, I have plenty I can delegate. So let's start to shift you a little over to this side and let's put you more in an editing role and see how that goes. Because ultimately, I like you as a human being.
Right.
And if you are a good human being, you get a chance. You know what I mean? Like, you're not only defined by your capabilities when you walk through the door on your first day. That's not what makes, a long-lasting employee, friend. I mean, I'm a little bit like Michael Scott. I want everyone to be my friends too. But then just help them grow as an individual. And so we lean in on their strengths, and then eventually their weaknesses will either just be set aside entirely. And it's like, you just don't work on production. It's okay. Right. If you want to get better at production, work at it. But that's not my role. My role is to find what you're good at. Let's make you great. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of my advice there. But it's hard to tell because some people might kill it in an interview, and then you start to get around them and you realize that you don't work well professionally together. And when that happens, you just have to have that conversation. Hire slow, fire quick. That's kind of the mentality. You know what I mean? When you start to realize this has nothing to do with skill. This purely has to do with, are you going to affect the culture of our company negatively? And if you are, I don't care how skilled you are. Our culture matters more than your deliverable. And so we let them go.
Hire slow,
fire fast.
Quick.
Yeah. Hire slow, fire fast.
The investment. That's, I mean, looking at the sheer numbers, and I know some of these, especially your salespeople, are recent investment.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge risk, especially early on. And then I feel like even more as you grow.
Yeah.
Like the financial risk that you take on with even that first hire of Adam.
Sure.
Like, how how challenging was that? And I feel like even for me right now, I feel like every business reaches like a bottleneck.
Yep.
I need help, but until I break through the bottleneck, I really can't afford help. So I've got to have help to break through the bottleneck so I can afford help.
Yeah.
How much challenge was that? And do you have any advice on breaking through that or just experience what's worked for you?
So I was fortunate with Adam. He
was cheap.
He was free.
No. What? No.
He was free.
No.
His first 2 weeks, he worked for free. He came to me
right,
and he came to me and he was like, I want you to know, like, you're taking a risk on me. I'm taking a risk.
Okay.
I want to prove my worth to you because I could not pay him. All my projects I was doing, I was like, all I cared about was me.
Yeah.
Was George. I'm not pricing to pay someone else.
Right.
And so he just came to me and was like, I'll work for free until you can pay me. And he was
Props
serious
to him.
Dude,
and that's something that I feel like too many people, you get to a certain level. And I know, I mean, at that point, just based on that video and his presumed age at that point, he had responsibilities.
100%.
That was a big risk on his part.
100%.
And way too many times I see people that are like, that's not enough. Like I'm worth this. And I feel like people aren't willing to take those personal risks / just investments to say, hey, I'm going to do this for nothing, or I'm going to do this for very minimal.
I mean, I don't know if lucky is the word, but I was really lucky that Adam came along and had that same mentality and the heart that I had for people and for content and for why we exist. And I think it was about 2 weeks. 14 days is a lot. That's a lot of work that he worked really hard before I gave him his first paycheck. Because again, I had to kind of ramp my prices up a little bit and things like that. Now, what's interesting though, is because he did that, a light bulb clicked in my head and I was like, wait a minute, I'm not the only person who knows how to edit a video. I'm not the only, as a matter of fact, there are a lot of things that he knows that I don't know. And that's when a light bulb kind of clicked too, where I was like, dude, our output was, anywhere from 5 to 10x what I was doing on my own, just with him being there. And so that's where we were able to start delivering higher quality product quicker because he was there. So that's when I started reaching out and we brought in other people, that don't work there anymore, but it was kind of the same result. And there were times where, I'd tell them, hey guys, we're not going to make payroll, or you're getting paid and I'm not.
Yeah. Because
they would get paid. Everyone gets paid before George does. All those people do. They get paid before I do. And so, we're easily in 7 figures of investment at this point into people.
Wow.
And so, that's obviously over the years.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we're, I've looked at these guys before, and they know my heart when I say this, but I've said, now I'm very fortunate now, but especially a couple years ago, maybe I'll look them dead in their eye and I'm like, I want you to understand that you are George's retirement. That's where all my money's going. Like, we're not saving for retirement. Our investment is in you. And I don't want that to be like a, you owe me anything.
Right.
But I want you to understand the seriousness of it, because we're a debt-free company. We've never taken any loans out or anything like that. Everything that we have, we buy with cash. Or if we buy it on a credit card, it's so low that we just pay it off at the end of the month.
Right.
So I have gotten a little bit more comfortable with using a credit card for stuff like that, because when the guys they were in Mobile yesterday filming, like, I hand them the company credit card so they can get gas and food and things like that. Yeah. So there's that level of debt, but it's nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And
I've tried to model that same thing in Riverlight Studios. I've tried so far successfully.
Good.
But
It's
I'm also
hard,
young.
dude.
It is so hard.
Oh my gosh,
to
it's so hard.
pay off, spend on a credit card, but pay off every month.
Yep.
Just to keep that minimal amount of over like unnecessary expense or just throwing money away for the sake of being able to borrow it.
Yeah. So no, I've had many people tell me you need to take loans out and you could build your studio bigger. And I've had people offer me like, I'll invest in you and stuff. And I don't know. Maybe I will in the future. I don't know, but I don't think that I will. Yeah. And again, this might all come back from the wonderful trauma that I had of being dirt poor when I was younger. But it's like, if we need a new camera, we save up for it. Yeah. We don't just go put it on a credit card or whatever. So, but that's George's retirement on that screen.
Well, you have an incredible team and you've built it up, pretty incredibly over the years. And what I would say, my biggest takeaway from you is this didn't happen overnight.
Oh,
and
no.
This wasn't, you used the term luck and you even said it's not luck. Probably not the best word to use. It's not luck. It's years and years of hard work.
Sure.
And like, I know your story goes back with you and your wife and your kids, where you were like, we don't know if we're going to put food on our table because you were taking those risks. And I'm sure sleepless nights where you're up working.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it's a really cool story because I know even a little bit of that hard work and those sleepless nights and just ultimately the big risk that you and your family did take and the fact that it has paid off, not only for you, but now for these other people that you provided a whole nother life for.
Like, I will try my best not to get emotional, but like all of them, all of these people have like bought houses. That's crazy. They're like through Seed Creative, like they are having children. They've had kids. They're getting married. Dude, that's nuts, man. That's nuts. And so like,
when you were just worried about providing your own family something, dude. Now you're providing all these families.
Well, I'm not. As well. I mean, I know
Seed Creative.
Seed Creative is like Seed Creative is them. Like, it's not just George. It's all of us collectively. Yeah.
What started with you
sure
is now providing.
Yeah, I told Jacob the other day after I heard him on your podcast, I texted him and I said, "You're a tree." That's what I said. You're a tree.
What does that mean?
So he started with Seed Creative.
Oh, okay.
He started with Seed.
Yes.
And so I'm finally seeing the fruit in other people beyond just they work for George, quote unquote. Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he is just, he's just got moved into a new house and he is providing for, himself and Yasmin and CJ and things like that. And so that, like, I wanted him to, like, I know that sounds silly, but that's how it feels. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, he's independent from me now. Like, he does not need George to be his biggest client anymore.
Right.
Like, he's doing his thing. And so I was like, you're a tree. And I think he understood that. So that's pretty cool.
You need to change it from Seed Creative to Orchard Creative.
It's funny you say that, because we have plans for things that are in that realm, and not that brand, but in that kind of concept of a master brand. And then there's these little seeds, these subsets of Seed Creative. So we have Seed Creative is our primary.
Right.
And I've made like little logo mock-ups and things like that. But we trademarked Seed Creative recently, and all of that was intentional. But we have Seed Creative, and then we have Seed Creative Video Production.
Right. And
we have Seed Creative Studios. We're working on and getting really close to launching Seed Creative Marketing. I have toyed with the concept of Seed Creative Education or something along those lines. So that's kind of the ultimate goal, is to be this master brand that started with Seed Creative Video Production, but then it branches out into these other things, and it gives other people more opportunity. and they can luckily come under a brand that I believe has a lot of I don't know if clout's the word. Is that the word? People know who we are.
I'd say foundation.
Foundation.
Got a strong
Yes,
foundation.
that's a way better word. So the brand has a foundation that when you put Seed Creative and then marketing or photography or whatever beneath it, people know that it's coming from a product, or they're going to get a product that they can be proud of, and it's coming from people who really care about what they do.
Yeah.
And my whole goal with that is obviously to expand, but just give other people opportunities to do what they love. And if I can help guide them in any way, I'll be more than happy to do it. But I mean, Nick and I on the way up, we were talking about delegating and who, like, we kind of know who our next people are. That, I mean, look, it's like a pyramid. I'm just going to say it. Like, if George is at the top and then kind of Nick and Adam are there, like who's that next layer of that pyramid? And then they're going to start having people beneath them that they're kind of helping mentor and can delegate work and things like that. Yeah. So it's all really exciting.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
It sounds, I mean, I love to see the growth. Your story just keeps getting more and more broad and impactful. And I appreciate your willingness to sort of share it. So we are going to talk about the studio. Yeah, this is from when
I remembered you had filmed a little, but I didn't. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, it's really just going to run in the background while we talk about it.
Cool.
It's obviously very high quality production. We were bringing in lights and no, I'm just kidding. But very raw
there.
and
you
authentic.
Got that natural light coming in from the window.
Yeah.
Shooting on the shadow side. Good job.
There you go.
That's a little too shadowy. That's all right.
Colton Fisher was definitely helping me out that day. So I appreciate Colton. But your studio, so let's take it back to, you started off in your garage, right? Or your basement?
Yeah. So technically it was, I mean, it's basically a garage. It was, I lived in like a 900 square foot house, 2-bedroom, 1 bath. And then there was it was a half carport, half chicken house, like chicken coop.
Yeah.
Is what it was.
Yeah.
But inside of that, there was one small little room.
This is more rural Tuscaloosa County.
Oh,
right?
Yeah. I'm in Cottondale.
Yeah.
And so, it was a room. I mean, it was pretty small.
Yeah.
It was a small room, mold on the walls. I mean, it was disgusting. Usually, when I came back in after working out there, I had a sore throat every day.
Yeah,
because I'm breathing in God knows what.
Obviously, some nitrogen-rich chicken poop.
Sure, yeah. But that's where Seed basically started.
And then from there, you had 2 iterations of like a smaller studio space that I'm aware of.
So from there, we did move into a bigger house, and then I just had a bedroom in my house. Yeah. And then from there, it was the smaller studio, the one where we shot Welcome to Seed Creative. That's the funny April Fool's video. And then from there, we were there for 3 years, and then we moved into sort of a medium-sized studio. It wasn't massive by any means. That's where we started to see a lot of real growth, was in that space, because we at least had a space where we had like a psych wall, and we could build really small sets, and we could host clients and bring them. And it's always better to have face-to-face meetings. That's one little tidbit there. Like, if you have to go Zoom meetings, fine, but you're going to close a lot more sales face to face.
Agreed.
And so getting to have people come and see the studio and see our faces and the twinkle in our eye when we talk about their project was nice. And then now we've moved into this space, which is about 11,000 square feet in total.
Well, first of all, thank you for letting me come in and see it.
You look like you had a blast on the cycle.
Oh, dude, I was trying to touch it. I couldn't. The depth perception, you just lose entirely whenever you're looking into that corner. It was still
all under construction too here.
Right.
I see all the tarps and stuff up.
Yeah, no, I think y'all were still painting. I think you even said, like, watch where we step, because one part of it was still like
drying.
Very,
we were painting
very,
when you were showing up, I think.
Very fresh and new.
Right.
But it really is sort of incredible, because you and I had talked about this you had shared some personal
Yeah,
conversations.
you started
with
helping
me.
us a little bit with like some brand ideas and stuff.
Well,
Remember, we came up with like a little leaf, and we were like, we ended up just saying, let's just do the circle and just change the text underneath. But yeah, like we had talked about this for a long time.
Yeah, well, you even talked about these specific buildings, I think, or this big building that you were going to potentially move into,
Right?
And to then see it come about and get to see it in person as you were still sort of like fine tuning it was really neat. So I appreciate you just taking me in that space and letting me see it. And it really is an incredible. I think I even have in one of the next slides, like modular kind of environment that you have. Everything there is so adaptable to whatever need. And you've got tons of space, both vertically, you'd probably like to have even double that. But you do have
the ceilings were taller.
But you do have, I mean, it's more than what you had in your previous space.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the width, the breadth.
That's nice.
Is massive.
Yeah, that's nice. So this is honestly one of the main talking points I wanted to make sure that we talked about today. Yeah. So thank you for including this. But ultimately, what we want to be as a studio is a resource to the creative community in Alabama, but anyone shooting in Tuscaloosa or Central Alabama or whatever. So yes, we use it for our own productions, obviously, but I'm looking at the studios as the next company. So we have Seed Creative Video Production. That's under that brand. Now we have Seed Creative Studios. It's like a whole other thing,
right?
Where people that they're doing their own thing, they're probably bidding against us on content, which I don't care about. By the way, it's fine. It's business. I don't get my butt hurt about if people are if we're going after the same people. Rent the studio. And we can be a resource if you need an extra audio person, or you need lighting, or, you need to rent a camera or lenses or anything like that. It's all there. Yeah. And we can go as far as we can crew it up for you to, I'm going to be chilling, editing in my office. And if you need something, just knock on the door. But the studio is yours for the day or the week or the month or the year, whatever.
Yeah. We'll talk about a little bit of the different spaces.
Okay.
I think I've got... let's talk about the cyclorama, right? So this was that. First you got the offices up in the front, which
everyone has their kind of own edit space.
That's bigger. That space alone is bigger than what you had previously.
It is, yeah.
So that's incredible. Alongside that, have y'all moved into that new space?
I'm still being stingy.
Okay,
stingy's not the word. I'm still being
cautious.
I'm still being a good business person.
Frugal.
Yeah.
I
mean, we don't need it, even though it's right there.
Yeah.
And we don't need the extra space right now. Now, I think that we will maybe soon.
There's room to grow.
There's room to grow within the very building that we're in.
Right now, you got those offices we walked in first. Yeah. And then once we walked out of there, we walked into this big, I think you called it like the loadout room, because it's got the big bay doors.
Correct.
You had a track in there that it was at the time just being sort of stored. I don't think it was set up yet. And then from there, you can go into like a storage area where you got all the shelving, or the cyclorama.
Yeah, you can go either direction. If you go left, which funny enough, that room that you're talking about that was kind of our build out room is actually now something else already.
Really?
So that's where our new podcast set is.
Okay. I saw, I've got the pictures. I think that you shared
we can show that in a second. Yeah. But that's also a room where we can build stuff out. But the track you saw was as far as I know, the largest diameter, at least in the Southeast, that's like kind of there and built for that specific purpose. It's a full 360 degree, 36 foot radius track.
Dolly track.
Yeah. That is not for like a floor dolly or anything. It's actually, we built it so that it could work with a Dana dolly system. Because Dana dollies are kind of easier to deal with, not easier to deal with, but yeah, they're easier to deal with. Like one person could set this track up and have a Dana dolly on it and get a full 360 shot.
Okay.
So it would be hard as one person, but you can do it. So we have that custom built.
Is it able to be done in like a 180
Yeah.
instead of the 360? So
Yeah, I think they're all like 10-foot
yeah,
pieces or
that would
something
be
like
cool.
that.
I mean, just with the side
No,
wall,
they're less than that. There might be like 6-foot pieces.
that's cool with the cyc wall right there next to it. The ability to put that almost in there.
Oh
and
yeah,
have
we could
that,
go
yeah.
180. The thing is if you flip the track around, you could do like a snake pattern. So like you're not locked into 180 or anything. Like it all fits together.
Oh wow,
If that
Yeah.
makes sense. So
Yeah.
you could curve around and then do another 180 and then maybe another 180. You know what I
Right.
mean? Or like a 90 degrees at that point.
Can you ride on it?
Yeah. Technically, yeah. The
Okay.
Dana can probably
Nick, let's
hold,
make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah. The Dana could probably hold you up. So you might want to sandbag the platform so you don't fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but if you go left out of that kind of main room that has the big bay door, we call it our prop room and gear.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where all of the non-expensive gear goes. So cameras and all that is in a locking gear storage that's right in front of my office in the main studio.
Yeah.
So that it's like extra protected, you know. But then all of our lighting and sandbags and C-stands and combos and all that stuff are in there.
Furniture's in there.
And that's where our prop
props
room
and
is.
everything,
So
yeah.
we have furniture, different, you know, just random stuff. So if you can see specifically on that left, on the left photo,
Yeah.
this is something that we just did the other day for a realtor there in Tuscaloosa. All of that stuff behind her was in our prop room.
By the way, that whole setup looks incredible. Just like
Yeah, man.
we talked about the yellow earlier.
Yeah.
The sock wall, the colors that you're hitting it with.
Yeah.
It's working so well.
The way we built it, dude. So we've got this massive grid of
The tube lights.
the tube
Yeah,
light
yeah.
grid, and that is all obviously can be linked or independent of the floodlights.
Yeah.
But if you notice, we can kind of separate her with that pretty, you know, white light, but then it just really falls off with a gradient into that background color. So the gradient, the softness is so gradual that it just kind of flows into whatever color you're kind of throwing behind it.
You've been working with a sock wall for, I mean,
5 years or so.
Okay.
Yeah, five or 6
because
years.
you had the smaller one at the last
Right.
studio.
But we never did RGB lights until Kyle Roberts came. I hired him for
Kyle's incredible.
Kyle's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
He's one of my like go-to because he knows way more than I do about everything. But if I'm like, dude, I don't know what kind of light should I use for this or what, you know, piece of equipment should, like, he knows,
Yeah.
you know, and he was the first person to throw RGB on it. I can't remember what lights
to
he
sort of
used.
use in the place of paper rolls or something like that.
And I knew that you could do it, but I had never seen it like well done.
Yeah.
And we hired him because he had more experience in a certain type of lighting and video production than we did at the time.
Yeah.
Brought him in. It was an NIL deal for an Alabama football player. And then when I saw that, I was like, oh, dude, next cycle, well, we're getting RGB. This looks crazy.
How many RGB are you using? Panels?
No. So we're actually using, I think we have 7 Amaran 660Cs.
Okay.
Are our main floodlights.
Are they
and
the
those,
Amaran rays or are they
Yes.
oh man. Yeah, I've heard incredible things
Yeah.
about the Amaran rays.
Yeah, yeah. And because they are that they don't move, they just stay there. We felt confident in the Amarans over spending extra money for aperture.
I love Amaran. That's
Um,
all that I use in here.
And so I think there's 7 floodlights total, and we have like a diffusion bulb on there, so it makes it nice and soft, and it all blends together.
So they're just the cob lights.
Yeah.
And you've got like almost like a round.
Yeah, it's a round. It looks almost like a light bulb.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks
Okay.
like a light bulb.
Yeah.
And then for our separation, we have 15 4-foot RGB tube lights rigged to
That's
a
what we're
grid.
seeing at that top photo there. That's all
and
set up.
all of this is custom built. We built it all ourselves. So, and those are on hoists,
When's
motorized.
Seed Engineering coming out?
That's a good, yeah. We've talked about Seed Construction because we're building all our sets ourselves too.
Yeah.
but that kind of grid is on, I keep saying hoists, maybe it's winches is the better word.
Yeah.
They're on motorized winches, and so we can tilt it and angle it, bring it down, modify it. If we wanted to put a skirt on it, we don't have to climb up ladders. We can literally lower it all the way down to whatever level we want and skirt it and then put it back up. That's pretty neat.
Yeah.
We had all like custom power run to the ceiling so that we can, keep all the cables and stuff out of the way. Unfortunately, there are supporting columns in the building. That's one of the other things that kind of ticked it down a little, but we just work around it. I mean, you can see we have plenty of room. The psych wall is actually bigger than it looks on camera here. Its total surface area
is a car in it. How does it look?
It's a small car, but it's a car.
Okay.
Total surface area is around 1,540 square feet or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So, and then I just got a really nice 4K laser projector that we have some really cool ideas for. It's not quite LED wall, level of awesomeness, but it's a close second.
Well, I mean,
you can project stuff in the back, and if you bokeh the crap out of it, you're not gonna know. You know what I mean? So,
and I've seen people do incredible things with projection, like even on people, like on the talent, especially if you start doing more of that sports stuff, which I know you've got a long history of.
Yeah, we have a contract with Alabama football, so we do a lot of their stuff, and so that's one of the reasons we got the projector.
Yeah. Well, the psych wall is massive and really well done, I feel like. And the lighting, like I said, the photo there on the left with the talent, the woman there, that color looks so great in the background. The yellow we saw on the construction vest.
Oh, dude, it's ultra saturated. It's crazy.
It looks really cool.
It's crazy. That's that's pretty much straight out of camera. That's just what it looks like. That shot on the bottom right is with an iPhone,
You do have a talented photographer that you've recently hired.
Yeah.
Photo Ninja, was that his?
Nikon
Ninja.
Yeah.
And his real name is?
Matt Hogue.
Matt Hogue, yeah.
Yep.
Matt's a great guy.
He's a buddy of mine. Yeah. And so he is he doesn't work full time for Seed or anything like that, but he is there, at the ready when we need him, and we send him out.
I thought he was full time with.
So he's not full time. Okay. No, he's not full time. He's still pursuing growing his business, and I just want it's almost like that's kind of why we're there. Like, I want to be a resource. So we do have him set up. Like, he's got a small office there.
Yeah.
So when he is there, he can work and do his thing for Seed and then for other people too, if he needs to. So Matt's awesome.
Well, and he's got a great story. I know y'all have been friends for years and have worked together on projects. He's been in projects like in front of camera as well as behind camera. Great guy. All right. So we talked about the modularity. So you moved from this other room we haven't even discussed yet. So you got that first loadout room, or now you said you got a podcast set up, which
is
the
now
top right.
The top right of the screen is our new podcast set. That is, in this photo, it's 95% done. There's still a few things we need to.
So you're planning on leaving that set up 99% of the time?
Correct.
Okay. Because I know there's this, I guess if we were to say 4 rooms, right, back there in the back part, you got the room that now is the podcast room.
Yep.
You go to the right, that's the psych wall.
Yep.
You go to the left, that's the storage shelving for the props and the gear.
Right.
And then the back sort of corner, I guess.
Yeah.
From those 2 rooms, you can go into it.
And we just call it the set build room.
Yeah.
And you can just build whatever sets you want.
So that's what we're seeing on the left and the middle.
These
correct. Are 2 different sets that you built. I say 2. Really, you can see even in that top left.
Yeah, we had enough room to just build it all in one fell swoop, I think is the word.
So these are all like those almost like flats that you build and then put them together to make them look like room corners.
That's correct.
And then you've got a medical bed, evidently.
Yeah.
And a bedroom scene and then a hallway that you built out
correct. Yeah, so that's our set builder room, and even in these photos, this is before we had painted. This is before, yeah. So now you can see it a little better in some of these shots. So in there you can now see we've painted the walls black in the back. So that was before we had even gotten around to painting the walls. What you might not even know because it's hidden with paint, but there's actually a bay door in that room too.
Oh wow!
So that's one of the things that we discussed was. Let's utilize this front area because it is an eye-opening when a client walks in. They're like, oh, these guys are doing it right. Instead of the first thing you're faced with when you walk in is construction.
Right.
It's, no, there's a set, and it's a really nice set. Yeah, you could see the bay door a little bit in one of those behind the scenes just there.
That's a really cool shot. I guess
that was with the drone. Yeah, we threw the drone up.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see that bay door over there. Yeah. So now that's going to be our room where we handle construction and build out and stuff like that because it is a little more removed from the rest of the studio. We can contain dust and stuff a lot better back there as opposed to being the first thing you walk in. Yeah, it's when we were still painting and there's that 36-foot radius that we had custom built. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. We're really, really happy with stuff so far.
Yeah, no, I think the space is again massive. I feel like, but then how customizable it is, and the flats are really incredible. Just the ability to build a room. Really whatever size you want within that space or multiple rooms where you can, and even the video that y'all did that y'all were shooting in these photos, you move from the bedroom into the hallway into, I think, a living room maybe at some point. Like,
so we go back, so we go from bedroom and then the camera kind of quote passes through the wall.
Right.
And it's so quick that people watching it probably don't even notice that it happens, and that was by design. And then it's back into the bedroom.
Okay.
And then it was in the hospital room. That's how the commercial flows. And then there's a 60-second version, a 30, and a 15. I'm not the biggest fan of the 60 because there is then a final shot where it's as if the guy that is kind of the focus of the commercial is speaking to a group of people, and that was just done in our conference room.
This is like a PSA, right?
Yes, it was a PSA. Yeah, it was a PSA that we do every year for Alabama Department of Mental Health. And this one specifically was to kind of show people that if you notice someone is overdosing, this is kind of how to use Narcan. There are these things called one boxes that when you pop a lid up, there's actually a video that plays and it tells you step by step, here's what to check for, here's how to know if they're having an overdose, here's how to open the Narcan, here's how to give the Narcan to the patient, and stuff like, it's very like step by step, and it's saving people's lives. And so that's what we're proud of, and that's what I mean by like, we want to make content that makes a difference in people's lives.
Yeah,
we don't know how many lives potentially have already been saved or are being saved or were affected so that they didn't put themselves in that situation in the first place because of our videos alongside the efforts of all these other people. We just play a role in the efforts of Alabama Department of Mental Health and things like that. But that's what I mean when I say stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so, but yeah, then it moves into the hospital scene. I did, that's basically like a template hospital. And then I ended up overlaying and did some tracking and some graphics to make it feel even more robust. So the scene that you see here is like, I just put the brown wood panel up back there, literally just so I had something to track with, so I could track some a 3D model medical stuff onto the back because we don't have access to the hoses and the pipes and the things like that. But I mean, you'd never know watching it. You know what I mean? So that was just there for contrast for the wall and like a reference point of this is where it's going to go in the final video.
I remember seeing the video, or at least like pieces of it that you've shared out, and I don't recall seeing anything that I was like, oh, that was VFX'd
Yeah,
in.
yeah. No, that scene is the only scene that has some like VFX in
Yeah,
it. But yeah,
that's cool.
like that's the goal, is that you don't know.
Right.
Because
right.
it looks just like it looks like a more modern hospital bed. We were fortunate enough to have a hospital bed donated to us, and that's what you see there, but it is a little bit of an older bed.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to spruce it up and make it look a little more modern.
Yeah. Well, this it is really neat, and I look forward to seeing the podcast setup. I
Yeah.
didn't know. I mean, I knew you were going to do it. At one point, you talked about possibly if you had acquired that next set of offices, you were
Right.
talking about doing it there. I had assumed this was actually in the
back
the
corner.
build out.
Yeah.
area.
So now, the set build room still has the set.
Yeah.
Set with the hallway and stuff, and we're just keeping it there until we need to move it because it's proof of concept and we want to show people. I will say that the commercial for Alabama Department of Mental Health, the budget was not something that we should have built a set for.
Yeah.
But we did it anyway. It's an investment.
Right.
And we were like, you know what, we want to show people what we can do. And we've had a lot of discussions, and we feel that that was a wise decision, and then it's paying off.
Well, you've got to somehow get a proof of concept of your space.
Right.
And if you don't invest in it,
Yeah.
then how can you
And
expect
there's no
somebody else to?
reference point when it's empty. You have
Right.
no idea what you're capable of, especially to someone who's not creative.
Right.
They don't realize when I say we can build a pretty large bedroom. It's a pretty big bedroom,
Yeah.
and a hallway that runs almost 30 feet back with like multiple doors, and a hospital room all in the same set. And you still have about 15 feet on the back side of that wall to run all your lighting and your power and rigging. And you have room in front for cameras and operators and the client to sit. They don't realize, like, man, you can build a lot in that space. And that's just
For them
one
to
of our
walk into an
stages.
empty room,
Right.
they would never.
They wouldn't
yeah,
understand.
yeah.
They wouldn't understand. Yeah.
Tell me this: what is something right now that you're like, it's still lacking, or there's still room for this, and maybe something that you see in the future, or something that you, as soon as, like, if you had the space for, or is there limitations to this that you've seen already, or is there just like future growth that you see in this?
Sure. The limitations currently, we are still having to be really careful with how we're handling sound in the back room. We still need to do some sound dampening, soundproofing, stuff like that.
It's a lot of concrete.
It is. In our podcast room, we're in a good position with
Okay.
sound.
Yeah.
Psych wall still needs a little bit of work. Now, luckily, I mean, look, technology has come a long way. We can clean it up where you don't know that there's an echo. You know,
Okay.
like it sounds fine.
Right.
But I don't want to have to do that. I don't
Right.
want to do that in post. I want it to be done right. So those are limitations. The ceiling height is 100% a limitation. Again,
One
we
that's
have ways-
probably not going to change.
that's not going to
anytime
change
soon.
in this room,
Yeah,
in this
yeah.
building. But we don't foresee ourselves being here for forever either.
Yeah.
I mean, my ultimate goal would be that this is Seed Studios 1.
Yeah. And
then we have 2 somewhere else that's bigger. That's probably, where I could see us being in 5 to 7 years. But again, I don't know. We've also talked about just buying land and just building it from scratch, which is a possibility in the next 5 to 7 years as well. So ceiling height is a problem. Sound is a problem. Those stupid freaking poles in the middle of the room. Again, we can deal with it.
Right,
Like there's still
right.
enough space. Like even here, like we have enough. It's hard to tell, but like we have a wide angle shot that
Right.
is in front of that pole that shows pretty much the whole set, and it looks fine.
Yeah.
Like the photos are deceiving with the depth that we have there, but the poles are pretty annoying. But we can just get over it.
Yeah.
And then, yeah,
you've
I mean,
learned
it's-
over the years how to work with what you got.
Dude, work with what you got. Yeah. I mean, if anything, like there's some shots where we might use the pole to our advantage. We painted it white on the psych wall, and it's like maybe make it look like it's part of the set. You know what I mean? Like it's fine. Like we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
There's no problem that can't be solved. It just takes time and effort and energy.
Well, and the growth that you've experienced from the last studio to this
Mhm, sure.
studio is immense. I would
Yeah,
imagine.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's massive. Okay, so I do want to be respectful of your time.
Sure.
So let me know if we really need to speed this up.
I'm having fun.
Okay.
I just don't know if anyone has made it this far yet. And if you have, like, comment, subscribe, tell us that you've made it this far.
Yeah.
All of the good things, because I don't want to be boring.
We should say thank you to Christy, right?
Yeah.
For making it this far.
Oh,
Actually,
Christy's
no,
absolutely
she's
not going to listen to this. She's heard this story 1,000 times, dude.
Yeah.
She's the one that gets to hear me come and complain about the poles in the studio.
Yeah. So I'm just out of, a little bit of a throwback, but where is Christy? And didn't you win an Emmy? Is that what it is?
Oh, wow. That's a big throwback.
Is that what? Were those the two things?
Those were the two things.
Okay, yeah.
We won 2 Emmys.
2 Emmys now. Yeah, originally it was only one.
It was one. Yeah, we won 2.
Yeah, so
and
that was something you and Nick
because we
always
wanted
joked
Christy
about.
to be on our podcast, which we have not done our own podcast in like 2 or 3 years now,
right?
Because we're just so stinking busy.
Yeah.
But
all right, well, let's get into this because
right.
I do want to talk about it. You are launching soon to launch,
dude. I don't know.
Eventually,
I'm setting everyone's expectations. I don't know.
Okay.
I wanted to have had it launched by now.
Well,
this takes a back seat to our clients who actually pay us.
Yeah. Well, you were kind enough to share with me the first episode, at least I'm assuming, or first,
first lesson, I guess.
Yeah. And it was great. I mean, I really, I thought it did what it needed to do with setting expectations for an individual.
Yes.
And what their real purpose is as a video production company versus, what maybe you get into video initially and sort of anticipate it being.
Yeah.
So I thought it was great. Visually, I think they all look great. I've got the sort of like thumbnails for all the lessons that you've shared out so far.
Yep.
But in general, just give us the big picture concept. What is this for? Who is this for? And why do you feel like this is the time to make this?
I am training my competition.
Okay. All right.
If you want to do what I do,
yeah,
this is kind of like one of the steps or one of the mentalities that you have to have in order to do it.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm losing money on this project, but I don't care. And maybe I'll make money on the back end. I don't know.
Right.
But dude, one of my passions has always been teaching. If I didn't do video production, I probably would have eventually become a teacher because I really, really enjoy it.
I did the opposite. I was a teacher and then went video production. So feel free to go back.
Sure.
I can make some connections for you if you need them.
I don't know why, man. I really enjoy watching the student, and that could be a child or an 80-year-old. I like seeing them be like, they get it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's really fun and fulfilling for me. But the ultimate goal is it's called setting expectations. As of right now, it's 10 lessons. I foresee doing additional lessons in the future. But it's all about mentality. You know what I mean?
If I play no audio, but I keep swapping the wrong way.
Sure, play whatever. Yeah, and you can do audio.
I'm gonna just, I don't know what's happening in my screen right now.
You're good, bro.
Here we go. I should have let Alejandro handle this part.
Alejandro.
Yeah. All right, so I'm not going to play. Should be muted. Yeah, so we're not getting audio, but you are getting just the visual of it.
Yep.
First of all, I love.
And this is before I color graded it too. I look a little pale there.
I just felt like you were. It was shot in winter by the appearance of your.
It was
clothing,
winter. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're all a little bit paler at that point.
Sure.
But love the. This is Tuscaloosa Theater. Is that what it's called?
Yes. Bama Theater.
Bama Theater. That's what it is. Yes. Beautiful spot. I got to watch one of the high schools perform.
You got
Seussical.
Okay.
Seussical.
I believe you.
Oh, it was great. It was beautiful. But anyway, all right. So back to what you're doing here. You shoot this. You've shot this for a while now because some of these lessons are back in your old studio.
Correct.
And then some are in the new studio.
Correct.
And then the in-between are sort of here.
Yes.
So you've been preparing this for a while.
We've been building it for a long time, and that's why it's hilarious that it's not done yet. But
why did you decide? Like, why did you? Well, you talked about wanting to be a teacher, but what experience do you feel like really prepared you to do something like this?
So let me just say, the main reason that I'm making this, truthfully, is because I believe in my own product. And what we try to sell to people is, if you can make it into a video, whatever it is, and it can make your life easier, why wouldn't you do that? So I get, on a regular basis, 5 to 10 texts, emails, messages, maybe weekly, from people all over the world asking for advice and mentorship. And what should I do? This is how I did my invoice, and they said no, and blah, blah, blah. There's me and Jacob, by the way. Yeah. Got some cool behind the scenes shots.
Early days,
2017.
Early days.
Yep. So,
both of y'all have aged well.
I was only three years. 3 years in business at some of those points. But, so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to make some videos, and then I can share it to people when they ask me these questions. And then the more I was doing it, I was like, wow, this is actually this is stuff I wish I would have thought about and known.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of build and build and build and build. And now it's like, you know what? I got to make my money back. I'm going to sell it for $100. I mean, it's pretty inexpensive compared to, anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. Some of these other courses that might be comparable are. But the mentality here is I'm talking to other human beings that are not impressed with flashy graphics, with After Effects, with motion, all this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to lean into that. I'm not even going to lean necessarily into super beautiful cinematography. I want it to look good, but the whole point and the whole goal of this is pure education and information. So it's very different from other courses. It's very masterclass-ish feeling in ways, especially the later courses, as I got more comfortable and I understood this is the direction we're going. So as the series progresses, the videos do kind of get better, a little more entertaining, I think.
Yeah.
But
Jacob sort of brought you down on this.
Jacob brought me down on this. Yeah. He only could do it at a certain time of day. I really wanted the sun to be lower. Couldn't do it, so the sun is just there, smacking us in the face there, but whatever.
Yeah.
Again, I'm like, you know what? Who cares? The story is what matters. If we believe that, that's what we all say, we're going to have massive lens flares in the shots.
Right.
Who cares? Whatever. This is the framing I wanted. I wanted to shoot it here, and so that's what we did, and I'm glad we did. You know what I mean? So even though, yes, it could be better, I'm not ignorant to that. But,
all right. This is what I'd ask you.
Okay.
Give us the big secret. What is if you had to put it into, I mean, obviously you didn't. You did it in 10 lessons. But if you had to give us the secret in a sentence or in a couple of sentences.
Might not be able to do it in a sentence. Let me figure out the best way. I'm going to pull an Elon Musk here and really think about this.
Okay.
The best way to articulate that, because I know what it is, but I need to be able to say it in a sentence or two.
And at this point, no one has to buy the course because you've given it to us.
Sure. It's fine. Disappointment is almost always due to a lack of or misaligned expectations.
That was a sentence.
Almost always.
That was a sentence, man.
Almost always disappointment is derived from a lack of or a misaligned expectations.
Yeah.
And that is talking on not only on the client's perspective, but on yours as well. So if you go into a project with a set of expectations that are not met, you will be disappointed. If your client comes into a project with a set of expectations that are not met or are not what they expected, they will likely be disappointed.
Yeah.
Unless you exceed those expectations, which means you're giving them what they want and more.
Yeah.
So that's in a nutshell what this course is designed to try to teach. The hard part is what the crap does that mean?
Right. Well, and
that's what the course hopefully can do for people.
I was thinking as you're saying that, I'm going to go back to, gosh, I keep swapping the wrong
You're
thing.
fine.
Where did my thing go? I've lost it. There we go. I do think when I think of expectations as a business, like as far as my expectations or my clients' expectations, especially client expectations, the way I've always jokingly phrased it is I always like to set low expectations so they're easy to exceed.
Okay.
But I think what you're saying here is ultimately a much better mentality of business is you establish, you in writing you concrete somehow identify and get collective understanding and agreement upon these are the expectations.
Correct.
And then once you have that, everyone knows the ultimate goal. And then you work your tail off to meet or exceed those expectations.
That's correct. And I will challenge you on your mentality of low expectations. You can't charge a premium for low expectations.
Agreed. I've like I said earlier, I sort of jokingly have always done that. I came from an education background. In the world of education, there were already low expectations, at least in this kind of work.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm sure a lot of people have I'm sure you've come in industries before where it's like you could have done it on an iPhone or just a little bit of trick editing or anything. And they're like, oh my gosh, he brought in 3-point lighting or whatever.
Yeah.
But the lighting was terrible at the time because you didn't know what you were doing yet and you learned over time. And those expectations, you sort of set your own expectations.
Yeah.
That's the way that my career has been. Thankfully, I was able to grow with the expectations. But once you get to the point where you're really a business working with established businesses that maybe have already worked with other people, you've got to come to an agreement on those expectations.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to set yourself up for failure. And again, like you were saying earlier, disappointment, discouragement, ultimately, you're going to ruin a relationship if you don't do that.
Sure. Yeah. So a lot of what you're talking about is dead on.
So I should teach the class.
You could.
No.
I mean,
no, I can teach the problem.
Let me tell you something, dude. I've got a lot of ideas because setting expectations, as you'll notice, is a brand within itself. And if I had it my way, I would also be building setting expectations as a brand. And then you have setting expectations, a no-nonsense course for video production, a no-nonsense course for photography, for graphic design, for welding, for plumbing, for just think masterclass.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd fully rip them off in a way because they're doing it and they're doing it well.
Yeah.
But it is a little different because the mentality always comes back to expectations.
Yeah.
But look at lesson 3, defining project goals and metrics. That's where we get that crap in writing. You know what I mean? And everyone knows.
Well, and I think
this is what you're doing.
That's why this course, I think, at least in my mind, would be valuable. And that's why most courses, nobody's out there like breaking totally new ground on anything.
Right.
This stuff is stuff that I think we all realize. You don't have to be in business long to realize this stuff. The issue is the solution, and not only the solution, the practical, hour to hour kind of solution, which is, I'm assuming, what this really gets into.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it does. Yeah. And it moves slow. I mean, it does. Like lesson 1, I'm kind of saying the same thing for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. I can imagine.
But dude, it's to hammer it into your brain that it really is that easy. And a lot of people want this crazy long process, and man, keep it simple. Like it really is that easy. And if you screw something up, it's as easy as telling your client you screwed up and here's how you're going to fix it. We've messed up plenty. We've had cards fail. We've had audio go bad. We've had this and that. You just tell the client.
You're not supposed to talk like that in this room.
Oh, okay. All right.
You're bad juju.
I know it. I know it. You just tell the client. You just tell them. You're like, hey, we screwed up, but this is how we're going to fix it. And I've never had a client get mad about that. We're just honest.
Yeah.
That's I think lesson 5, communication is constant. Just communicate all the freaking time.
Yeah.
Because the more you communicate, the more they're thinking about you for the next project. Anyway, all that stuff gets talked about in the series.
Well, I look forward to seeing more of it. So
Sure.
I appreciate you sharing with me the first lesson.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right. So I do want to talk about this. And then I know I keep saying I'm going to be respectful of your time, but I've really got to blow through this last part a little bit. So briefly,
Sure.
I thought this was just really interesting. You're saying one story funds another. There's a video that you've got out there that sort of breaks this down a little bit.
Yeah.
It's been sort of brief. I'm curious, 2 things. First of all, can you give a brief explanation of what it is and why you want to do it?
Yeah.
Secondly, have you already done it? I mean, what's been the result so far? Because you shared this out a few months ago, I think.
We have done this, but we didn't brand it and we didn't tell anyone about it.
Yeah.
We have done it just on our own. So what that means is client A does a video, there's profit left. Client B has no money. Hey, dude, don't worry about it. We got you.
Or Seed Creative is the one funding another project.
I mean, that's basically, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, at its core, that's what it is anyway.
Yeah.
But this is a concept that I think will work. Again, I have so many ideas. I need to be careful to put stuff out like this because this is one of a million ideas that we have where we're like, I know it could go somewhere if we could, but there's just not enough manpower behind pursuing some of this stuff.
Yeah.
I'm only one person. I am a natural workaholic. I have to be really careful and protect my time so that I'm not taking away from my family. And so I'm really intentional with, I work certain hours, I take breaks, I take vacations. I will be in Italy a week from today. And it's killing me that I'm going to be gone from work. Yeah. And that's sad. It shouldn't be that way, but that's just the truth.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of ideas, so I need to be careful about this because this is one of those ideas that I know could work, but as of right this second, we are not pursuing it the way we should.
Okay.
And that's on me. But if someone did see this and they said, we want to fund another story, we would do this and we would have that conversation of what that looks like. I had an internal team meeting. We have a meeting, at least one meeting a week, just about ideas and stuff like this. And this was one of them. And I think we filmed it and put it online to show at least a little bit of that process. But yeah, the concept is very much like Tom's Shoes, if you've ever heard of them.
Yeah.
There's a sock company, I can't remember what they're called, that does this.
Yeah.
I think it starts with a B. But basically, if you put in a certain number, then part of that money is going to get siphoned off and it's going to be used to tell the story of a small local business, maybe a nonprofit.
Right.
I have mixed feelings about doing this for nonprofits because I know how nonprofits work. And I know that sometimes it's better to let the nonprofit pay for what they need to pay for. Even just from a legal standpoint, it's better for them to get rid of some of that money. That's why they're a nonprofit. So there's stuff that I've learned about other types of businesses that I would have never known.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Small mom and pop shop.
Correct.
I mean,
that's where those are the people that potentially need more help than some of the nonprofits.
Yeah.
It's all possible and potential.
Startup companies.
Yep. Startups, small people.
Yeah.
I had a conversation yesterday with someone. We're going to do a project at cost for her just because she has an idea that she's not going to be able to afford it. And I told her, we'll just do it at cost.
Yeah.
And let you see. And if it goes somewhere, and if you can raise money or get funds for it from sponsors or whatever, then we'll do it the real way. And I didn't intend on telling anyone that today because we do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
But that's kind of derived from this concept. It just now has like a look and a brand. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
something we were already kind of doing.
I knew it was something that, I knew I hadn't seen much of it since then, but it makes sense that it's more of, hey, this is something we do. We haven't really talked about, but we also want maybe people to know that this is something that they can be involved in too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's cool. Well, I look forward to learning more about that down the road whenever you do have more and more clients that want to participate and stuff like that. So, this is another thing I want to talk about. I know it's, so I saw you invested in this company.
Correct.
And then after you invested in it, you shared even like a real world situation where you were at a softball tournament or baseball tournament,
track and field,
track, and you were on a cheap, a relatively low powered sort of MacBook.
Yep.
On your cellular phone's hotspot,
correct.
And you were connecting to Strata.
Yes.
To pull in the video files and edit there. And you said it worked seamlessly.
Correct. So the files are not in the cloud. They're on my server at my studio.
Right.
And I'm able to pull them in and edit them over a hotspot at a track and field.
Do you, because I was looking at it the other day. First of all, I don't think you can invest in it anymore. Otherwise, I would have done so already because I missed the opportunity.
I think it's closed for now, but it might open again.
All right. Secondly, I was also looking at, do I have the physical hardware? So I've got a NAS. I've recently bought a NAS. And
you don't have to, it doesn't have to be a NAS, by the way. It can be any drive.
But does it have to be connected to a computer that also has Strata on it? Or can it just be on the NAS network? I feel like it has to be connected to a computer.
It has to have something
is it
that's
Strata
running.
Or Strata?
It's Strata.
Strata.
It has to have something that's running a Strata agent.
Okay.
So it does need to be, but it works on Windows and
and
Mac,
so it's got to be a computer that's up, running,
Yep.
that's connected to video files in some capacity,
Correct.
whether an internal storage or external storage, and then Strata can connect to it.
Yep. And then you connect. I mean, I can connect on my phone. My phone's over there.
Yeah, but
so there's an app too. It's pretty cool.
And you can literally pull that into any kind of editing software and edit in real time from that, and it works smoothly.
It works. So there are obvious things that need to be addressed because nothing is magic.
Right.
There will always and forever be a bottleneck on your Wi-Fi speed. Always. Because that it doesn't matter if you're using something that's in the cloud. If you have crappy internet, it's going to move a little slower.
But
so
tell me,
be aware.
What kind of wiggle room is there for crappy internet? Because, like, for instance, here at the studio, I can't get fiber.
Correct.
So I've got as high of speed that Spectrum offers,
which is 35 megabits per second.
But back at my house, I have fiber.
Great.
And it goes like, gosh, I can get 600 both ways or 200 both ways, anywhere in that frame.
Yeah.
Would the Spectrum work enough, or would I need to set it up at the house?
They built it with the lowest speed in mind as this is what it needs to work on, and then it's just going to work faster and better on faster internet.
But where you're editing from
doesn't matter as much.
That's crazy.
That's what's crazy. That doesn't matter as much. So the ultimate goal, and I'm going to say even though Michael Estrada is probably like, you freaking idiot. It's not, you're not doing anything. You just gave us like a little bit of money to help pay for like a week of us working.
You're not the only one.
I know. There's a lot of people, man.
And Alabama, I think specifically in the Birmingham area, I'm not going to name names, but I know there's a few companies that are using it, and they're using it with remote editors because I've talked to one of those editors.
Yeah. So it works.
Yeah.
Like, it does work, but the ultimate goal, which I feel like not we, are very close to cracking, is you can be sitting in an airport on Wi-Fi from the airport and edit Red RAW, Blackmagic RAW, any RAW.
That's crazy.
You can play
without having to do proxies.
Now, proxies are always preferred,
right? But
and recommended. But no, you do not have
that's
to.
crazy. I think you could do it based on what you're saying with your hotspot. You could do it on the plane with the plane's internet.
I mean, you're going to have some drops, but you could. Now, once it caches, and that's a whole other back end thing. Once it caches, you probably could do it on the plane Wi-Fi pretty seamlessly.
Yeah, but gosh, DaVinci's cache files.
Are they massive?
Well, I mean, eventually I have to clear them.
But these aren't DaVinci caches; these are Strata caches.
Oh,
it's different.
Okay.
Anyway, and you can point to where you want that cache to take place, and you don't have to cache if you don't,
right?
But you can, and it makes it smoother. But yeah, that's the ultimate goal. But the other thing that's cool is at a Finder level, you'll be able to just play back Red Raw, play back Blackmagic Raw in Finder
that are on your
drive.
server or whatever across the world potentially.
Yes, and you could have 100. You could have. I mean, I'm going to say 100. I don't think I'm overspeaking.
Yeah.
You would never have that, but you can have 10 editors accessing the same file, and it's going to work the same way.
Yeah.
It's not going to slow that file down because it's going to you and Alejandro and George and Jacob.
Yeah.
It's just going to play back and
it's
work.
neat. I've got right now, I mean, my NAS, it's a Ugreen, and it's got an app, and I can access it on my phone and I can watch it, but there's definitely a lag.
Yeah.
It takes a while sometimes. But the fact that Strata is made for editors, because Ugreen's not made for editors, it's made for anybody.
Let me explain something too about Strata that's completely unique. I can generate a link and send a link to you for a folder or for a single file. And you open that link and you can just download it. You can play back, you can have access to it.
Yeah. So it replaces some of these like Google Drives.
Oh, 100%.
And again, connects. You're not paying for the storage because the storage is
you own the storage.
Yeah.
No storage caps, nothing like that. The other great thing, they're building commenting, so it's going to replace Frame.io. They are building, from what I understand, a form of NLE where you could, I don't want to overspeak because I'm not in all of the internal meetings, but I believe it's in the process where maybe you sync two cameras and audio via timecode, you pop out an XML, and you can open a multicam clip, all generated by Strata, but you open that multicam clip and it's referencing Strata files. So I could open it, do some editing, send that XML over to you. You're going to open it and it's going to just work, and you don't have to relink.
Oh man.
You don't have to relink because the file path is the same.
Well, and Alejandro and I have worked where it's going from, and this is a question that maybe this may be the challenge, which you've got more experience than I do, but he worked in Final Cut. I was working in DaVinci. Going back and forth is always such a pain, even going with those XML files. But especially if you're working in the same software, even still, I have to relink when I work with other people.
Well,
Brody
Burgess. The thing is if the conversion is all done correctly, the relinking specifically should not ever be an issue because it's the same file path.
That's awesome.
It's Strata / Brian Pope / what.
Yeah.
It's the same file path.
Okay. So. All right. Well, I'm sold. I just got to get the hardware. Specifically, I have to get another computer
to run it
that I have in studio all the time.
That's the great thing, though, is the computer running it. So we're using an M1 Mac Mini. Like, it just sits there in the background and just has Strata on. Like, pretty inexpensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Especially considering we're not having to pay for, let me think, 200 terabytes of cloud storage. So, because that's what our servers are. Yeah. We have 200 terabytes.
That could get a little expensive.
We can have immediate access to 200 terabytes as if it were in the cloud, but it's not in the cloud.
And you could, I'm assuming, add a whole nother server, plug it into the same one if you needed to. Like, you could grow that.
Well, you could have Strata running. So you could have Strata running when I'm in Italy next week. I could have Strata running in Italy off of a hard drive, and we could also have Strata running at the studio, And
you don't have to have different
No.
logins
Nope.
for different devices.
Nope. And you could access the files on my hard drive while I'm in Italy and the files on the server simultaneously and edit in a timeline from my files in Italy and my files at the server. And then you could send an XML to Alejandro and he could open it and it's still just going to access it the same way. As long as I'm on the internet, that's all that matters.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure there's other people out there that do something similar. Like I said, Ugreen's got an app that I can access the files.
What
but
Strata does is the first of its kind in the world.
because it specifically ties right into editing.
Yeah.
It's designed for video editors.
Yeah. It's all workfall and access. Yeah.
That's wild. Okay.
Sure.
Let's wrap up.
All right.
What would you tell this guy?
Um,
First of all, these are all you, right?
yeah. Yeah.
The in the family photo of you and your mom and your brother, you were the younger brother at
Correct.
that time. Your brother's older than
Yep.
you. And then you've got you and your 4 kids here.
Yep.
And then you and your
A long
wife.
time ago because
Yeah.
they're all older now. That
No,
little
I think
baby
he
is
looks
10.
18 in that photo, doesn't he?
Nah.
Your son?
Yeah.
But you were younger than 18 in that photo,
I'm
right?
15 there.
Wow.
And I think we were on a mission trip in Mexico in that photo.
That's awesome. I
Actually.
asked my wife out on a mission, not to Mexico. We weren't quite that traveled, but we were in either Kentucky or Tennessee on like a church building mission trip.
Yeah.
That's when I asked. I didn't have very much confidence, not quite the confidence you had. But I eventually got around to asking her out on that trip. So,
I don't know. I struggle with this question, and I hope that I can give you some form of articulate answer. I don't know, man, because like I always struggle with this because I'm like, if I went back and told him something, would he do something differently? And then I wouldn't be who I am now. You know what I mean?
Well, and honestly, my big purpose,
invest in Apple, especially the little one.
Yeah, like right now, go break
$10, go break your piggy bank.
Yeah,
you know, don't eat lunch for a few days. Invest in Apple, you'll be thankful.
Yeah. Well, my big purpose in this is thinking of the next generation. I tell you to look back at this guy at all different points in your life, but ultimately, it's like. And I think you've already given a ton of advice, even in this episode, not to mention you have a whole course out there that's full of advice that you're working on getting out there.
I mean, they're all filmed. Every lesson is filmed.
Right.
It's all shot.
Well, and
we
you've
just have
already
to edit it.
You've shared a ton on social media itself that you've already given away a lot of advice. But ultimately, like right now, just thinking of where you are and your business, the employees and friends that you have now, the experiences that you've gone through, what advice do you feel like you have? Maybe this is outside of video production. Maybe this is, like, what advice do you have right now for any of us?
It's so cheesy, but absolutely be kind and treat anyone that you come across with respect, even if you disagree with them. And understand that if they have a worldview that you don't agree with, there are so many intricacies as to why that may be. And you don't have to agree with everyone. You don't need to agree with everyone. That would be a boring world. But if nothing else, I don't think that respect is earned. I think that you must respect people, period. Now, respect can be lost.
Yeah.
You know, it can be lost.
Definitely.
But respect doesn't have to be earned. You give people respect no matter what. Treat people with kindness and with empathy because they all have a story. A lot of people might know my story, but I'd say most people don't.
Yeah.
And whenever I tell them, I don't like bring up the whole homelessness and all that stuff. I don't do that ever for no reason. You know what I mean? So there are people that have known me for maybe 10 years and they just heard about that and they're like, what? I had no idea. And it's like, I don't want you to treat me differently. You know what I mean? Like just because of that, the circumstances that I was in. But I guess I'm just saying, like, everyone has a story. I mean, everyone knows this. I'm not saying anything that's new. Treat people with respect, with empathy. Help people that might need help, whether it's with video or photo, or their car broke down and they have a flat and they don't know how to change a tire. Just pull over and do it if you can. You know what I mean? And try to mentor people under you, because you're not always going to be the young, cool, hip guy. Like, I mean, I don't know. That's we're going off in all kinds of directions, but I'm just flow of whatever, you know. Well, I used to be like the young, cool guy in a metal band and like could eat anything and do anything. And now I'm older and I have to like watch what I eat and like weird
ice
stuff
cream
like that.
Will kick our tail.
Dude, it's so annoying. It's so annoying, but like you will be in this position before you know it. And if you treat people like crap, or if you're arrogant because you think you're the only person who knows how to use an anamorphic lens, like no one really actually cares. They don't really care about your talent level if you treat people poorly. There are people who have wanted to get hired by me who are super talented that I will never hire. And it doesn't matter if they're going to make my product look better because they're on the shoot. You are a jerk. I am not going to hire you. I have lost respect for you because you don't respect other people. So that, like, it all kind of wraps back into like the way you treat people, setting their expectations, things like that. If I expect you to show up on a shoot and be normal and nice, and you show up late and you are arrogant and you're like, well, I'm this cool guy with this great camera. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Ultimately, it comes down to how you treat people is a lot more important than how talented you are.
Yeah. Yeah. And now we know why you've never hired me or offered me a job.
You've literally shot
I'm a
for us.
jerk.
I literally pretty sure I texted you a week ago.
You did.
And I was like, hey man, can you shoot this for me? Oh, I'm too busy.
Yeah. I mean, obviously. Hang on just a second. Yeah. Let me
Oh my gosh.
No, I love the whole idea of you said about treating everyone, like even strangers almost, like everybody with some respect. I think of the biblical narrative of you never know who you might be entertaining angels.
Oh,
right?
sure.
And then I even watched the Odyssey last night.
Love it.
And in it, the whole idea is Zeus, the law of Zeus, which I think we can obviously say is very, really is the law of God.
Right.
They just had a misunderstanding of who God was.
Sure.
But the law of Zeus was about treating the visitor as a guest, as family members almost.
Yeah.
It's I think that concept is something that is as old as time. But yet people still struggle with it. We get so self-focused, self-centered. We are worried all about our bubble. And when somebody comes in it in need, we put up guards and we push them away rather than treating them with kindness. And then later on down the road, we do realize that typically you do that enough and it really bites you in the butt.
Yep. Absolutely.
Well, good advice. I appreciate it. Let's see what we have left. That's it.
Cool.
Thank you, man.
That was me when I was in a metal band and I'm wearing mascara.
I was about to say, do you have eyeliner?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're on the far right. Is that correct? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I love it, man.
That was the trend,
so.
dude. That's what bands did. And we were as cliche as you could possibly be. As a matter of fact, we wanted to title our first album Something So Cliche. That was the name.
Yeah.
Because we knew who we were.
Hey,
we are just another metalcore band.
Not everyone has that kind of self-realization.
Well, what's funny is our label wouldn't let us do it, and we just went with self-titled.
Okay.
But like we were like, we know we're not any different than any of these other people. Like, we're not special. You know what I mean? Like, we were fully aware of that, but we had fun and we liked the music. And so that's why I think we might have done this as we know that we look ridiculous and that's why we're doing it. And that's Sam in the back. He's got his hands up. Like, that's not us at all. We were probably making fun of ourselves when we did this. We were not taking it seriously, but that it looks like we were. So it's kind of funny. I mean, that's just It's the same thing as like the spoof video. I'm acting real serious
Right.
about it, but it's horrible.
Yeah.
So yeah.
The humor and the lightheartedness and the realization of the intentionality behind that was always there.
We knew that we looked ridiculous. We just
Well,
did it anyway.
and got a photo of you at the meetup that we had
Yeah, dude,
just
that
last
was awesome,
month.
man.
So
Yeah, I
thank
love
you
those
for coming.
meetups. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for coming today. I really do appreciate it. I think, again, respect your story, respect your business, respect the grind that you and your entire team are doing. Props on the success, props on the family. You've got a beautiful family. Congratulations on getting one through high school, and we'll both be in it together for a while, getting the rest of them through. So
Awesome.
But thank you, George. I really do appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. That's a wrap.
Cut.